All right, guys, welcome back to Mexpat Dating. Today, I'm going to be going over some of the do's and don'ts to do when cold approaching, online dating, and then texting. We just created a comprehensive guide. You can pick it up down below in the link in the description. It's about all the things that we've learned on our journey that hurt your chances when out dating. I'll be honest, I had to learn the hard way. And a lot of these things that I learned and that Jaron has learned as well, we really wanted to make something that you guys can get out there right here, right now, and start making progress in your dating life. Not only do we cover things that you shouldn't do, but we cover things that you do want to do and things that are going to help the dating experience and ideally get you to your goal faster, whether it to be having hookups, whether it to be a long-term relationship, and anywhere in between. This guide can really help you. So I'm going to go over a few of my favorites today. I think that you can start implementing right away to get results in your dating life. So first one is going to be with cold approach. Don't approach from the behind or the side. This is one that we see a lot. We see a lot with new clients that are getting into cold approach and guys we coach here in person. And hey, no judgment. We get it. Most of you probably haven't thought about how to actually go up to a person. There's so much nerves, anxiety. It's like, okay, I'm just going to go up and say hi. That's good enough. What happens when you come up from the back or the side is you can freak them out a little bit, and it comes off a little bit creepy. Imagine like when you're out and somebody like comes and solicits you, or like, I don't know if you're in Mexico City and someone tries to sell you candy or whatever. You kind of throws you off, like, whoa. And so a woman's going to experience that too, but you're not like a little kid trying to sell them a lollipop. You're a grown ass man that's bigger than her, stronger than her. And so this can instantly put her into a fight or flight energy. And that's not what you want. You want her to feel comfortable and relaxed and safe. So what you do want to do, and this is what we teach in our one-on-one consulting, is the front stop, how to do a proper front stop. What I teach guys and what I do myself is I do a full kind of loop around the girl. So I get maybe 10 feet in front of her, even if I've been, following her for a good block or two. And then I loop around and then I make it so I'm basically walking into her. And because I do that, it's a lot more natural. It's a lot more organic. She gets less freaked out, and it kind of just is like, oh, this kind of just happened. It just so happened that he walked right into me, right? They might see you doing it, but it doesn't matter because you're doing it in a calibrated way. So this is one, guys, if you can start practicing, it's going to have great dividends in your dating and cold approach life. Quetzal, who we've done a testimonial with on the channel, shout out Quetzal, he really struggled with this. We went out for a long time before he got the idea that you have to come around and do like a proper loop. And he would get too close to the girl and he'd be, he'd come right into them and they'd be like, whoa, like chill out, dude. So as an example, once he learned the proper front stop, it really changed his results with cold approach. Okay, guys, another don't that you don't want to do is take long pauses when you're talking to her. I get it, in the beginning, you can be a little bit nervous, and so it's natural to not know and understand what to say. A lot of guys, though, what they do is they'll be talking or whatever, and then they'll run out of things to say, and they'll just kind of pause. And if you wait just too long, like a second or two too long, it gets awkward, it gets uncomfortable, and typically you'll get the response, oh, hey, well, great to meet you. Like, I got to get going, right? So what you want to do is learn how to keep the conversation flowing. Have a lot of different things that you can go into, a lot of different conversation pieces that are going to allow you to continue talking and continue the conversation, especially when it gets, blank. Well, so how to do this, right? Well, another do and don't here is don't ask a ton of questions. This is another huge one that we see a lot of beginners do, and I did it before for sure, and I made a video on this recently. My biggest mistake, and one of my biggest mistakes ever, was that I would basically turn the approach into an interview. And the interview was for the job to be my girl. And let's just say I got a lot of prospects saying I'm not interested in the job. So this was a big frustrating point for me because I was like, dude, what am I doing? Like, I'm doing all the right things, quote unquote, but it's just not happening. What the hell? By the magic of the universe, a good mate in Poland, they run dating.com. They actually have a business there. I got to go and experience cold approach with him because we became good friends. So it was pretty sick. I got like free coaching basically if I'm an expert. And he taught me the magic and the power of assumptions. So what you do want to do is assume things about the woman. Instead of asking, hey, where do you go to school? Or do you go to school? You say, you're a student. Instead of saying, where are you from? You say, you're not from here, right? So you start making inferences about her. And why this is so powerful is because what it does is it shows that you understand who she is, even though you don't. And these assumptions, guys, they can be wrong. They don't have to be right. That's the magic of it. You can turn an incorrect assumption to a flirty moment. Be like, oh, like let's say you're a nurse and she goes, no, I'm a lawyer. And you're like, oh, you had crazy nurse vibes or something like that, right? So you can always switch it and flip it into, that was the greatest example, but you catch my drift. And when you're with the girl and you're making the assumptions, like you can pretty much say anything and she's going to get a kick out of it. And it's going to really keep the conversation flowing. It's going to be a little less intrusive as well, because a lot of times with questions, sometimes they can get the vibe like, dude, why are you trying to find out so much about me? Right? Big no-no. So leaning into assumptions is going to be a great way to improve your cold approaching and ideally get some more numbers in the process. Now, going back to the previous point, that's how you keep the conversation going. Practice on your own some assumptions. Write out a list of 20 questions and flip those into statements about the person. Let's do another example here. Instead of, oh, do you like to work out? Oh, you have a very fit vibe. I bet you work out, right? You see the difference in that. That's going to go a long way in cold approach, especially when you have just a few moments to build attraction. You want to be sharp. You want to be on top of your game. And so when you have 20 different things you can go to, then you're not going to run out of things to say either. So it's going to really play in your favor learning how to do this. Questions get boring too. I mean, you get bored of asking questions, right? And ideally, once you start doing this, she'll start asking you questions, because I guarantee you most girls aren't practicing assumptions. So just know that when they start asking you questions, that's a good sign. Last do and don't I'm going to share with you today. And this one is a huge one, guys. I swear to God, I'm going to give you two here. These two will change your cold approach game forever. Don't introduce yourself and don't compliment her. Wow. Wait a sec. That's not what I've heard from all the YouTube dating advice out there. Yes, guys, it's very normal to want to introduce yourself. It's a good, when we're nervous, it's an easy thing to say that's going to start a conversation. And why having a bunch of things you can go to, a bunch of assumptions that you can lean into is so important is because just like, hey, what's your name, right? That's just something we think of on default. So when we have other things that are more fun, more engaging, ready to go, we're not going to need to use those anymore. So back to not introducing yourself. Why this is key is because you want to elicit some mystery. All right. This is something that maybe some of you guys struggle with. I know I did for sure. I wanted to share everything about me and her to know exactly who I am and what I'm about. But women like to uncover a guy and discover a guy over a period of time. Right. That's how they fall in love. They don't fall in love like kind of somehow that's how men do with, wow, she's pretty and in yoga pants. She's the one. Right? They need to get to know you as a person, and not just that, but they need to discover you as a person. That's a better way to say it. They need to uncover who you are as a person, and you want to be able to facilitate that as best you can. So don't introduce yourself right away. And why you don't want to do this as well is because sometimes if you ask her name, this is a go-to for a lot of guys, a default, she might get a little uncomfortable. Like, dude, like, why are you asking my name? Like, I don't even know you. You just stopped me like 8 seconds ago. So it can be a little intrusive, right? So we want to be calibrated. We want to be on our game, and etc. What you do want to do is introduce yourself at the very end as you're grabbing her IG. As you're putting your Instagram into her phone, which is another do, don't flip it around. You can say, oh, what's your name, by the way, right? It's a good time to do it. And it's intriguing because it says like, oh, yeah, we've been talking for 5 minutes now and I need to ask your name. Like, it's not important because I'm here for you, not who your persona is, right? So the other one I talked about is don't compliment right away. And this is another big one. It's another easy one to go to. If you're very beginning, you're struggling to elicit some sort of escalation or anything like that, it can be a good idea to potentially break the ice by saying, hey, I thought you were really cute. But after a while, this doesn't work so much anymore. And let me explain why. Women have been hearing they're cute since the day they could talk and process words. Especially if they're a pretty girl, like they've been hearing that since the dawn of time, right? So when you come up and say that, one, you sound like a pickup guy, like you have an ulterior motive. Two, it's nothing special. It doesn't make you stand out from the crowd. What I teach guys and what I always say is to wait to compliment her at the end after she's earned it. This is going to do a few things that are going to be very important for your development. One, it's going to teach you that, hey, I have standards too. And she has to fit my standards as well. It's not just a one-way street here. If I like her vibe, if I like her as a person, hey, I'm going to give her that compliment because she's earned it. And that's the big key here. And that's number two. The big key is that she has to earn it, right? what that will do in her mind is be like, okay, whoa, this guy's a little different here. Most guys just instantly tell me I'm pretty or hot, or they're trying to get in my pants. You hear that all the time. But when you refrain from doing that, they're like, hold on, he's not just super horny and into me. Like, he's kind of getting to know me a little bit. Like, this is different. I got to find out more. I got to find out why he hasn't given me that compliment yet. So this is going to have a good play on the psychology in terms of creating that man to woman dynamic. And it's also going to put you in a power position. It's going to put you in a choosing position. Now, she has that power too. So don't report this video for being unequal and, the whole power thing. What I mean by it is that she has power, right? She has beauty that you want and that you want in your life. And that's fair to say. It's nothing wrong with it. But so do you. You got to learn how to remember that you also have a lot of value to add. So that's just a few of the do's and don'ts that are the most important to me in terms of cold approach, and that I found to be the most drastically changing in my whole dating experience. And I'm really excited to be able to share this with you, at least a few of them in this video. I think some of these you can take right away and start implementing and see big changes, because again, these are my favorites. I know they work for me like instantly. Like when I started doing approaches, I remember the day I was at like 600 plus approaches in my dating career, and I started doing approaches and I got 5 numbers from like beautiful Polish girls that day, and it was just like, I couldn't freaking believe it. And they texted me back too, so I definitely knew I cracked into something of a higher level there. And hey, I know if I can do that, anybody can do it. So I'm actually going to save my favorite online dating ones, which is Jaren's guide, and the texting ones for a different video. This one could go very long. Kind of want to keep this one a little brief. If you guys do want access to the full guide, you can pick it up down below in the description. It's $27. One afternoon, you completely change some of the mindsets you had around dating. There's dozens of different do's and don'ts that Jaren and I have learned from our whole dating experience that we've put into a very comprehensive guide that you can pretty much roll through very quickly with videos as well. So if you want to listen to those and you prefer to do that instead, that's an option as well. And then for an extra $7, you can get the IOI guide, which is something Jaren made. And this is really key for understanding when a girl is into you, because a lot of you guys miss that. She might be staring right at you and you just don't realize it's like an attraction stare, right? Or there's a lot of different indicators on dates, etc., that are going to be very important to be able to capitalize on. The texting guide as well, that's going to be how to set up the first date. So we took this in a sequential order where you can really go start to finish. And we have a couple more coming very soon that are really going to be able to help you go from Z to A all the way to the dates that you want with the quality of women you want with little effort. And all it takes is an afternoon of your time. You'll get access to the private Facebook group as well, and then a free 20-minute call with us. So really look forward to hearing what you guys have to think about the guide. And we appreciate you guys supporting us in the channel and this mission to help men level up their dating life very quickly. That's what we're about. We're about speed and efficiency. So